And we want to welcome you to our March roundtable. We're going to have Sally Robertson talking about energy funds for all a little bit later. We'd like for you to stay on mute until we open it up later after Sally speaks for our questions and discussion. Although there will be some times when you won't be on mute, but you can use the chat if you have questions or comments, and we'll be monitoring that. Don't worry about copying any links. We'll send you out a follow-up email with all the links. And if you, let's see, and we realized that we went over time last month. And so out of respect for everyone's time, we're going to be really monitoring the time this meeting, and we'll be giving a 1-minute warning when time is up. So please don't take it personally if you get a warning and are asked to wrap it up, and then we can always come back to what we were talking about. But anyway, so who we are and what we're doing today. Third Act, for people who haven't been here before, is a national group that was started about 2 years ago by Bill McKibben for people who are over 60 who still believe we can change the world. Our focus is on climate justice and preserving our democracy. We're comprised of national affinity groups like faith, education, creatives, and then we have statewide working groups. Third Act North Carolina is a statewide working group. We launched 1 year ago in February, and our coordinating committee has 7 people who are from Greensville, Asheville, and the Triangle area. And our present members, I think most people put TA-NC next to their names. But we're really looking for people to represent the coast, the Charlotte area, and more rural areas, including Western North Carolina, on the coordinating committee. There are only 7 of us, and the tasks are mounting up, especially in the areas of working with our website, using a program called WordPress. And having people who are interested in working with the Public Utilities Commission. So please let us know what we need to do to entice you to work with us on these things. We don't have money, but we could pay you in Third Act merchandise like shirts, hats, or something like that. So please really consider that. We'd like to take a minute and go around and have you introduce yourself and tell where you're from, and then pass it on to the person who's next to you on your screen. So I'll just say I'm Marcia Fouch, and I'm here in Greensboro, North Carolina, and I'll pass it to Cheryl.
And so I am Cheryl Arango, and I am in Asheville, North Carolina, and a member of the working group. Rosemary, I'll pass it to you.
Hi, I'm Rosemary Vardell. I'm in Greensboro, North Carolina, and I am a member of the coordinating committee as one of the co-facilitators. And I will pass it to Don.
Really helps to have your mute off at times. I'm Don Nonidi. Don Nonidi from Durham, North Carolina, and I am a member of the statewide coordinating committee and co-facilitator with Rosemary of our coordinating committee. And I will pass it to Elizabeth Chartrand.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Chartrand. I also live in Greensboro and have been on the coordinating committee, and I'm the official list keeper of our group. I'll pass it on to Maria Portone.
Hi, I'm Maria Portone. I live in Belmont, which is a little west of Charlotte, North Carolina. And I will pass it to Steve Lanning.
It's Lanning. I'm Steve Lanning. I live in Durham, and I'm going to pass it to George Dimmick.
I am George Dimmick, and I live in Greensboro, North Carolina, and I will pass it to Vicki Atkinson.
Hi, I'm Vicki Atkinson, and I live in Chatham County, and I'll pass it to Kathy Buckley.
Hi, Kathy Buckley, a member from Raleigh, and I'll pass it to Claire.
I can't see myself, so I don't know where I am, and I can't hear you very well, but I'll try to pitch in. I'm brand new. Ryan Caffrey invited me, and I'm thrilled to meet you all. I'm in Asheville, North Carolina.
Welcome.
And to Pam.
Thank you, Claire. I'm Pam. I live in Nashville, North Carolina.
Hi.
I'm a member of Third Act and also of Beyond Extreme Energy. And I'll pass to Rebecca.
She might be muted. Might need to.
Okay, did you not hear me?
No, and again, Rebecca.
Okay, sorry about
Yeah.
that. I'm Rebecca. I live near Asheville and I'm a new member. And
Welcome.
I don't know who to pass it on to because everybody on my screen has gone. So whoever wants to take it on, take it on.
I'll take it on because Rachel and Rebecca seem to go together. So
Yeah.
I'm Rachel Wooten. I'm from Raleigh. And I'm a third actor who's overwhelmed with way too many things besides this. But I wanted to hear the presentation, just in case. And I will call on John Kramer.
And I'm John Kramer. I'm in Durham, and I'm also part of the Third Act Coordinating Committee in North Carolina, and I will pass to David Schlesinger.
I'm David Schlesinger, and I live in Dallas, North Carolina, and I'll pass it on to Annelle George McLaughlin.
Hi, I'm Annelle George McLaughlin. I live in Greene County, Maury, North Carolina, and I joined a while ago, but this is my first chance to actually be in a group, and I can only be here half time tonight. And I came in a little bit late, so I don't know who to pass it to.
Okay.
Sally.
Yeah, I'm Sally Robertson. Thanks for inviting me. It's nice to be here. I am a Third Act member, but I've been pretty darn inactive so far. Let's see, I'll pass it to YH.
Looks like she is only introducing herself. So I'll pass it to Minta.
Hi, I'm Minta Phillips. I've just moved to Durham. I've been in Citizens Climate Lobby since 2019, and I'm really enjoying diving in with Third Act. I'm painting my my bedroom green, and I'm covered in green, so I'm not in the video. But it's great to be here. Thank you very much.
Cindy?
Oh, I'm sorry. I can pass it. Is it to Yeepat? Is that right? This is meant to.
Oh, it says he has low bandwidth. So how about look at the chat. Enough bandwidth to upload in chat. Okay. How about
I haven't said hello. I'm Cindy Ann. I'm currently nomadic, but I'm moving back to Hendersonville sometime this spring. And I'm new to the organization.
Great.
Welcome.
Hi, I'm Beth Carlton. I'm in Mebane, North Carolina, and have attended a couple of these roundtable meetings, and glad to be here.
Vicky, have you gone? Oh, you have. Okay, I'm looking.
I'll be happy to go.
Okay, great.
Larry Hatley, grew up in Greensboro, now I live in Durham, and this is my first time here, but I also work for the North Carolina League of Conservation Voters.
Right.
Welcome.
How about David?
I went already.
Oh, you did. Okay, sorry. I'm trying to. Anybody who hasn't gone yet? I think we just have to go with that. Brian.
Rob,
Okay.
Robert.
Rob Abramowitz in Chapel Hill, and I've been to a couple of these meetings. I'm happy to be here.
Great. Welcome. Brian. I think you're still on mute.
Brian Caffrey is my name. This is my first meeting. I'm in Asheville.
Great. Anel, have you gone? Okay.
Yes, I've gone. Thank you.
I'm
And-
Rosemary from Asheville.
Oh, okay. All right. Heard about you. Cheryl. Anybody else? Okay, well, thank you everybody for introducing yourselves, taking that time, and we'll have more time later if you to talk, to ask questions and hear what's on your minds. We have 3 campaign areas or priority areas that our statewide groups are engaged in. And I think I'm just going to kind of, they're democracy and elections, advancing fossil-free fuels, and democratizing climate. And I think that I'm just going to jump to, because got a little bit behind time because we're so happy to have everybody here. I'm going to go to John to talk a little bit about what's going on with democracy and elections.
Yeah, thanks, Marcia. I'll be very brief. So I've worked with a group, I've mentioned them here before, so some of you may have heard the name previously, but I've worked with a group called You Can Vote since the 2016 election cycle. They've been around 10 years, so they know what they're doing. They've got a good platform, good training, good events that you can participate in after you go through their training. But I'm here with 2 asks today. And the first one is the more important of the 2. So I'm working with a staffer there named Kevin Lambert. And there are places that You Can Vote would love to set up tables and talk to people. But to do that, we have to have a property manager or someone associated with a business's permission to do that. And the experience is once You Can Vote gets that permission, things go swimmingly and they're happy to have them back, et cetera, et cetera. But you got to make that initial contact first. For example, here in Durham, the Carolina Theater would be a fantastic place. Lots of foot traffic, people are excited. You're going to a show there, it's intermission, they're leaving, whatever. You know, it's in a progressively minded place with lots of progressive voters and just an ideal setting. But we got to find somebody that can help us. So if anyone on this call or people you know people who work at Carolina Theater or DPAC or manage Whole Foods locations, you get the idea. These sort of high traffic places, I'd love to have connections to them, and I'll connect them to Kevin, and off we go. So that's ask number 1. Ask number 2 is simple, and that is if you're excited about democracy, voting, getting people to turn out, getting people registered, please check out You Can Vote's website, and I'll put a link in it to it in the chat in a second. It's excellent. And what I want to do with Kevin is kind of have some events where we can get third actors together to staff the event. And if we can regularly show up, we can get like 6 to 8 people that are excited about this work, and we can regularly staff tables in great locations every week between now and November to pick an ambitious target. We'll talk to a hell of a lot of people, and I think change the path, the likelihood of their showing up to vote. And I won't go so far as to say the presidential election in North Carolina, but some of the down ballot races, you know, we can start to have an impact. So please check out You Can Vote. And I've taken too long already, and so now I will pass to Rosemarie, I think.
Thanks, John. So in the area of advancing fossil-free financing, A couple of asks for you tonight. One is in the area of divestment and retirement funds. We've spoken some about this at prior meetings, where it's trying to get the state to stop using our retirement funds to invest in fossil fuels. I wanted to let you know we're moving on this. We're building a committee. We would really be excited if you would join us. We are doing research, and next we'll be looking at the political and organizing side of this work. It is a long game, but it's possible. We've seen it happen in other states and places. We'll be meeting on April 3rd from 3 to 4, and we'll be sending out a reminder about that. So we hope you will have some interest in that area. The more people we have, the better we can move it. The second one is, I had to read this 3 times because it's so bizarre that it didn't make much sense to me at first, but apparently the House Judiciary Committee is weaponizing their governmental power at this point in the climate crisis, which is basically to say that groups like ours cannot organize around around companies to divest in fossil fuels. And they are using antitrust laws to try to do that. So it sounds bizarre, but that's really what they're doing. So we have a chance to try to influence that thinking, and we'll put a link in the chat as to where you can send a letter. It's really simple. They give you the information and you just get to fill in what you want to say in your letter. So I encourage all of us to do that. The last is just a teaser. This summer, there will be what's calling the Summer of Heat. This is being organized by Stop the Money Coalition. Third Act is a major player in that. And there will be actions 3 times a week on Wall Street and in states and communities. So we will engage you in the planning for our work in North Carolina at our next meeting. So we hope you'll be excited to be part of that. It's got a lot of promise for major action. And I will pass it to Cheryl.
Okay, hi, I'm Cheryl, and I am a liaison for the Democratized Energy Third Act group. And I'll just start right in with, North Carolina Utility Commission has scheduled 5 public witness hearings to receive testimony on Duke's proposed 2023 carbon plan and integrated resource plan. Currently, there will be rallies at 2 of the public hearings. Ours in Asheville is coming up on April 9th. The rally will be at 5:30 in front of the courthouse in downtown Asheville, and the hearing will begin inside at 7 p.m. and testimonies are needed. On April 30th, there will be a rally at 6 p.m., around 6 p.m. at the Durham County Courthouse, and testimonies are also needed for that hearing at 7 p.m. inside. Okay, so the other hearings will be Charlotte, Wednesday, April 10th at 7 p.m. at the Mecklenburg County Courthouse. And there will be a virtual hearing on Tuesday, April 23rd at 6:30. And then there will be another hearing in Wilmington, Monday, April 29th at 7 p.m. at the New Hanover County Courthouse. All of this will be in the follow-up. I'll put it in the chat, but it'll also be in our follow-up about the roundtable. So there also is a follow-up from our roundtable with Jason Torian in February. Be on the lookout to hear when the public hearing and comment period for the air permit will be held for the Person County Moriah Energy Center for liquefied natural gas, or LNG. A reminder, you can stay updated by emailing groupnomec@gmail.com to get on the NOMEC email list. And then I got new information from Jeremy from Third Act Central on tomorrow. There will be a letter writing party at 7 p.m. for folks who want live support. Bill has also provided a great tutorial how to be an effective crank. So all of this information and the links will be in the chat and in the roundtable follow-up.
I expect that there will be an action in Charlotte before the April 10th meeting at the courthouse. The person who generally organizes it is in jail right now from another action that he took, but usually either 350.org or Green Faith will set up something, and I can pass that along when I hear about it.
Great.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Anything, do you have any more, Cheryl?
Nope.
Okay, then I think we should probably go to Don for him to announce our speaker.
Thank you, Marcia. We want to welcome tonight Sally Robertson, who's joining us from Chapel Hill, or it's Scarborough. You can correct me, Sally. I know it's one or the other. And Sally is former Clean Energy Director for NC Warren and will walk us through a new online tool aimed at helping ordinary folks access renewable energy benefits through the IRA. Sally will introduce us to the Energy Funds for All website, launched last month by regional nonprofits to help North and South Carolinians navigate the wealth of funding for climate and clean energy projects. These include tax credits, rebates, and grants from the Inflation Reduction Act. So I'm really pleased to invite Sally to spend some time with us today and explore this wonderful, really great resource that should be of interest to everybody, I think, once you see. Sally, you're on.
Thanks for inviting me. Am I able to screen share this website? Let's see. Okay, can everybody see that?
Yep, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. I know some folks have to leave early, so I just wanted to say up front that there are several of us that can do presentations like this. So if you want your own special presentation or you have a group that you would like a presentation for, just let me know. And we also have on the website at the very bottom of every page this little box to sign up for updates. So if you put your email address in there, you can get on our list. And when there are major developments or even minor developments, we send out emails to keep people updated. Yeah, so Don told me maybe 8 to 10 minutes and then take questions. Is that about right?
Yeah, probably, 8. If we can do 8, that'd be great.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay. You can cut me off if you want. So the Inflation Reduction Act is humongous. It's, finally we're getting some climate action. It's probably not enough, but it's huge. It's $400 billion almost, but it's confusing. It's spread out over 11 different agencies. All the funds are on different timelines. Different people are eligible for different pots of funding. So it's very confusing. So we got together some organizations and some retirees and volunteers and put together this website. And I will give a shout out, especially since Larry's here, to NCLCB. They really stepped up and put up the funding to produce the website. So the website is a co-production of a lot of different people, but NCLCB is responsible for how beautiful it looks and putting up the funding to make it possible. So the way it's supposed to work is to help people drill down to what they need for their interests. And I'm going to just focus on homeowners, but you can see that if you come here and you click find funding for, there are several different categories of people. So if your local government is interested in going after funding, they can click local government. Tribal government, workforce, nonprofits is a big one. There's a lot of stuff available for nonprofits that hasn't been available before. But if you pick one, let's say we pick homeowners, and then you say, what do I want to do? And we list different goals. Maybe you want to reduce your energy bills, decrease your pollution, improve your indoor air quality. If you click on one of those, it gives you a list of different funds that might be relevant. So we're trying to eliminate the clutter. You don't have to look at all the programs that are just for local government. You can drill down to what a homeowner might need to reduce their energy bills. So I just want to show you, this is an example. There are tax credits for if you put solar on your roof, there's a tax credit for that, or get a battery, or install a geothermal system. There had always been a tax credit, but it had started to phase out, and the IRA bumped it back up to where it was, where you can get 30% of the cost of the system back as a tax credit, just the money taken right off your tax bill, if you're fortunate enough to make enough money to owe taxes. So if you were looking at that, if you click to expand it like I just did, there are some little blurbs of information here. But really, a lot of the information is on this Learn More page. So I'll just open that up and show you what's there. It goes into a lot more detail. What does this funding get me? 30% of the cost back. You know, am I eligible? How can I access the money? It tells you what form to fill out on your tax return. What is the timeline? This is very important for some of the grants that have deadlines, but for the tax credit, 30% credit available every year through 2032, after which it starts to phase out. What other incentives could I use to help me accomplish my goals? These sections are on each page. So sometimes things can be braided together. So in this case, you can get the tax credit, but for low income people, there's money coming up through this Solar for All program that's going to help low income people go solar, probably as a grant. Probably there's going to be some grant money for low income folks to go solar, and also some low interest loans. So this is a good example of not everything is rolling out at the same time, and it's very frustrating. If you owe taxes, you can go solar now and get that tax credit on your tax return. If you don't owe taxes, the tax credit does you no good, but there are other programs coming down the pike that will help. And then we have a section for where can I get more information. So we have links to the IRS website where you can get all the information you would ever want about the tax credit. We have, in this case, information about Randy Lucas, who's a really good CPA that deals in energy tax credits. We have a little paragraph here that gives you some tips about finding a solar installer that you can trust, because there have been some bad actors out there lately. So you do definitely have to be careful choosing a solar installer. And just some other links that are helpful if you're wanting to use the tax credit to go solar. And then at the end of every page, one of us is listed as a contact that you can get in touch, in this case, get in touch with me to find out more about the tax credit through this email that we have for the website. So what we want to really try to help people along, to hold people's hands wherever they need it, because we're just a collection of people that wants to help get the IRA money out to where it needs to be. So don't hesitate to reach out about any of these things. I just wanted to go back to this list
if you're, where we said we were a homeowner and we wanted to reduce our energy bills, just to show you a couple of the other things that are on here. There are also similar tax credits for making energy efficiency improvements to your home. So that might be another thing you would want to check out. There are tax credits also. It's not in this list because it's not about your energy bill, but there are good tax credits for electric vehicles and electric vehicle charging infrastructure. A really nice thing that they did at the beginning of this year was they made that electric vehicle credit available from the dealer. So if you're going to buy a Tesla and get that $7,500 credit, you don't have to have the $7,500 tax bill anymore to take advantage of it. You can just get the credit at the dealership. They'll reduce the price by that amount, and then the dealer gets the credit. So that is a big deal for folks wanting to buy electric vehicles who don't have a large tax bill. These two things, the home efficiency rebates and the home electrification and appliance rebate program, are things that you may have heard about, where there's going to be some really nice rebates on energy efficient appliances, on weatherization, insulation, energy audits. But those are very slow in rolling out. The money is going from the federal government to the states, and then the states each have to develop their own program for offering those rebates. We were just told the other day that it's going to be probably late 2025 before those are available. But when they come, they're going to be very interesting. Some of them are just for low and moderate income. This one is just for low and moderate income people. We've got a link here that lets you check whether you're in that category. For low income people, the rebate may be as much as 100% of the price of the item. So if you buy an energy efficient heat pump and you're low income, you could get as much as the whole thing paid for by the rebate. So they're really trying to push as much of this money as possible out to the folks who really need it the most. You may have heard of the Justice 40 initiative, which says that 40% of the benefit of these funds is supposed to go to disadvantaged communities. So we just need to, part of our goal with this is to make sure that happens. So I have probably close to reached my limit. If we want to, I could go on and talk about a couple more things, or we could just, I could open it up to questions.
I, for one, would like to hear what you have to say. This is why I came, was to hear what you have to say. That's
okay. Well, I'll just mention a couple.
Continue.
Okay, I'll just mention a couple of other things. This greenhouse gas reduction fund is very interesting. It's a huge amount of money. Let's see, I might expand this. And yeah, $27 billion. This is all about financing of clean energy projects. It's got three programs in it. And this month and next month, we're going to hear who got those funds. One of the programs is called Solar for All, and that's the one that I mentioned that is probably going to be a lot of grant money for low-income households to go solar. Some of you may have heard of the North Carolina Clean Energy Fund, which got set up a few years ago. It's a green bank for North Carolina, and it hasn't done much yet because it hasn't had funding, but it, together with the Department of Environmental Quality and some others, applied for the Solar for All money. So they'll be managing programs to get that money out for, that's exclusively for low income and exclusively for residential. The other two projects are, I'm going to click my learn more so I can show you. The other two are for setting up. So here's Solar for All. and there are more details about it. The other ones are called National Clean Investment Fund and Clean Communities Investment Accelerator. The National Clean Investment Fund, as it says here, is going to give grants to 2 to 3 national nonprofits that are going to set up national green banks. So and those institutions will develop financing that's much more favorable than what we've had in the past for green energy projects. So lower interest loans, maybe some revolving loan funds. We don't know yet who's going to get the money, and we don't know what products they're going to develop, but it should make the financing for projects like this much more doable. And then this last one, the Clean Communities Investment Accelerator, is to build up the capacity of local lenders so that they can continue the work of funding projects in local communities. So that we definitely will send out, if you sign up for our updates, we'll send out an update when the winners of this are announced, because the nice thing about this Clean Investment Fund, at least as much as I've been able to determine, is it's not Bank of America and people like that who have applied to be our national green bank. It's really good coalitions of like self-help. Credit Union is in one of the partnerships. Habitat for Humanity is a partner in one of the other applications. So there's some good, well-meaning organizations that are going to be running these things.
Wow.
Sally, I don't know if you want to, I know Karen asked what's a green bank? She kind of explained it there, but you want to talk a little bit more about that, or?
Yeah, it's banks that are, I think I don't know if this is exclusively true, but the Clean Energy Fund in North Carolina is non-depository. They don't take deposits. They only receive grant funds and then disperse them exclusively for clean energy projects. So solar projects, energy efficiency, weatherization work, and yeah, my hope is that the products that are offered are going to be such that they will save people money almost immediately. So if you get, in a lot of cases, especially with energy efficiency, it's cheap enough that if you can get money cheaply, get a cheap loan, you can do work that's going to save you money on your electric bill that is more than what your loan payment costs. And if we can get to that point, then we can really get a lot of work done.
Okay, Sally, thank you so much. Who would like to ask Sally a question? And you can use the raise your hand, or you can just put your hand up.
Do you want me to?
Is there somebody else?
Do you want me to call on folks, or will you guys?
You see.
Sure.
I see Rachel and I see Kathy.
Kathy.
Well, thanks, Sally, for an incredible project. And it's so impressive that this is available for folks in North Carolina and South Carolina. And I've kind of been watching on the sidelines, but I know the tremendous amount of work that you and others have done. And I'm wondering if other states are coming up with, if there are groups in other states that are also doing this, or is this kind of a standalone thing?
This is standalone, and I'm not aware of other ones that have been sort of going on the same track to do this, but a couple of other League of Conservation Voter chapters have inquired. And I think that that the North Carolina office is working with them to translate it. A lot of these things are the same no matter what state you're in. We have links to our state energy office to how they're rolling things out, but the tax credits are all federal and the grants are federal grants. So we don't have a proprietary interest in, charging for people to use it. So a lot of it could be just picked up and easily translated to other places.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Rachel?
Sally, I'm sorry I missed. Where are you? Are you in Raleigh or
In-
Durham?
In Carborough.
Okay. So I'm just thinking about a really good friend of mine who's running for mayor of Raleigh. It seems like maybe that people like mayors and city councilors, that it would do well for them to know about you and this, because then they can pass it on to their staff. I feel like a lot of times the politicians are out of the loop. And so I just wondered how you feel about that. And if you do feel a certain way about it, I might put you in touch with my friend. She would be very interested in this, I can tell you.
Absolutely. I'm happy to, do a presentation or talk one-on-one with people. We have a plan to reach out to local government, but we're not very far along with that plan yet. And we had also talked recently about doing a webinar for local government. So this confirms that would be a good idea. But yes, please.
Okay, so I would just, info@energyforall.org have you got another email?
I'll put my personal email in the
That's
chat
great.
too.
That's fabulous. I think she would be very interested.
What's her name?
Her name's Janet Cowell.
Okay.
And she's whip smart, so y'all would be a good. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay.
Marcia.
Yeah, I live in a townhouse and I'm wondering, like, how does that work? For example, for solar, I don't even know how I can just do it on mine. And is there any option for like an HOA to do something like that, or?
Good question. It's complicated in North Carolina, for one thing, a couple things. You might have an HOA that's really supportive of it, and then it might be possible, they might allow you to do it on your own roof. It's complicated to do a shared array that will serve all the different homes because of a law that is, I refer to it as it's a ban on third-party sales or ban on third-party power purchase agreements. It says no one but a utility can sell power to a retail customer.
That's what happened with Beloved, with NC1 and Beloved. Yeah, that's what they got caught in. Okay.
Precisely. So that's still not legal, but there may be ways to do it, but it gets more complicated.
Okay. Thank you.
And I'm happy to talk about that if you want to contact me.
Okay. Pam?
Hi. Thank you.
Pam?
Yes. Can you hear me? Can someone hear me?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, good.
Yes, we can hear you.
So my question is, has anybody, I hear horror stories about what's happening with solar bills under Duke's net, what are you?
Net metering.
Net metering, thank you. I have senioritis. No, Charlie. I also have a yappy dog outside. Go. Oh my gosh. Okay. Clearly between my dog and myself, this is. I'm wondering about has anyone done an analysis of how the net metering policy is affecting current residential bills? I heard from one friend that if she disconnected her solar, her Duke bill would be $16 less a month. So
that sounds extreme, and maybe you can put her in touch with me and we can see if there's something else going on, but it's not good.
Yeah, she's had solar since since 2018.
it shouldn't be affecting her yet because the new rules don't apply to people are grandfathered, I think until 2027 or anyway, for some period of time. So it shouldn't be affecting her yet, but Duke has made it much more complicated and less economically advantageous to go solar, but it's still a good deal. It's still a way to be in control of where your power is coming from, because Duke, despite all of its advertising and greenwashing, is not going solar very quickly. So if you want to get away from gas, a really good way to do it is to have your own solar. If you have a battery, it's going to make batteries a lot more attractive. Until now, the net metering was 1-for-1. If you send Duke power from your solar system that you don't need at the moment, you get a retail credit for that 1-for-1. And so the grid was acting as your battery. You didn't need a battery. But now it's going to be more attractive for people to get batteries if they can afford them. But with some of this IRA funding, it's possible that there will be ways to afford them more easily.
Has anybody or will anybody do a cost analysis on that for North Carolinians who have Duke power?
Well, Duke certainly won't. There was a very interesting guy. Oh, shoot. His name is escaping me. Kathy, maybe you remember. Who intervened in the net metering docket at the commission as an individual because he had solar. He was also a big old geek. And so he had done all of his spreadsheets to show the effect. And so we said to him, oh, Don Ullman is his name. He helped the Durham Friends meeting go solar in addition to his own solar at home. And so he did an analysis and we said, hey, you've already done the work. Why don't you just intervene? So he intervened. And I could probably dig up his spreadsheet and send it to folks if you're interested.
Yeah,
the effect is not good, but there are ways around it, and I think it can still be an attractive proposition.
Thank you.
Okay, what about, does anyone have an announcement about something that's going on in your area, or do you have a question for anybody else that's on this call? Or if you have a question for, continue the discussion. Question for Sally. Okay. We're totally open. We've got 10 minutes to go.
I'll add too that if anybody's interested in starting to interact with our group, we have meetings every week where we share updates about IRA. Sometimes we have speakers, or get on our email list, or send me a note and I will make that happen. I'll send you the information.
Okay, wonderful. Wait.
Hi, Sally.
Hi.
Or anyone, do you have a sense of if the election in November would go to the Republican candidate, how that might impact this program?
Yeah, good question. The tax credits, hopefully it wouldn't impact. Hopefully there are enough red areas that are benefiting from this that would be too much pushback to having it yanked away. But the tax credits, I would say, are in the most danger because tax law can change. The IRA changed the tax law and the Republicans could change the tax law back. The grants, the intention with all of the grant money is to get that money out of Washington before January of next year. So a lot of the money is getting passed to states or passed to the grant recipients before
the next administration starts. So that should be safe. I don't think there's any way to yank that back. And the rebates are sort of in the same category because that money is being dispersed to the states for them to set up the rebate programs. But the big difference would be if we get a Democratic administration again, we can do more.
Right. So we have to work really hard. Kathy.
Yeah, I just wanted to flag that that Duke Energy has submitted its plan to build a new gas plant in the Marshall plant in Catawba County, and that's really, you know, I mean, they're interested in basically, you know, big ticket items that cost a lot of money because that's where they make most of their money. So and they're going to be you know, doing another one pretty soon. So yeah, so they're interested in a very big gas build out, and that's why they're putting the brakes on household, you know, rooftop solar, among other things. So we just wanted to give you a heads up on that, and we'll be planning on who knows what to try to delay that, put an end to it, whatever we can do.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Wade, did you have something? Did you have another question? No.
If no one else does. Are any of these programs available for people that are not connected to Duke to get solar?
Good question. If you are not connected to any grid, then the tax credits still apply to you. You don't have to be grid connected in order to take the tax credit. You just have to install the system. If you're in co-op territory or municipal utility, the tax credits still apply to you because that's all federal. There are certain things that co-ops can do. I guess I mentioned that there were really good things in the Inflation Reduction Act for nonprofits. So that means all tax exempt organizations. So local governments, churches, nonprofits, and electric co-ops can get the tax credit even though they don't pay taxes. It's a provision called direct pay. So basically, if your faith group installs solar and sends a tax return into the IRS, they get 30% back as a check, as if they were getting a refund. So the same would apply to an electric co-op. It's going to make solar more attractive for co-ops than it was before. So hopefully we'll see some co-ops doing good things. And another provision for businesses and for tax exempt organizations is there are additional credits that you can get beyond 30% if you're in an energy community, like if your community shut down a coal plant, you can get an extra 10% if you install solar there, or also low income communities. So there's a potential, if you work the system right, to get if you're a business or a nonprofit, to get an even bigger tax credit for installing solar.
Any other questions or announcements or comments? I'll give you a couple more minutes to think about it while I announce that you will get a follow-up email with all the links from today. Our April roundtable will feature Nancy Palaka, who will help us get ready for the rest of the public utility hearings and talk about Duke Energy's carbon plan on Tuesday, April 16th from 5:30 to 6:30. And this will all be in the follow-up email that you get. Everything will be listed.
Cheryl,
Any other
I'm
Sure.
kind of wondering if we could get some feedback on this time for the meeting. I mean, we've moved the meeting around to a bunch of different times. This seems to be when we get more people but yeah, if anybody has any feedback about this as opposed to like an afternoon meeting.
Mhm. Anybody have any suggestions about that afternoon meeting, weekend meeting, occasionally, at least? No? So this maybe is a good time.
Beth says if this is a good time.
Okay, yeah, Beth says it's a good time for her.
George has his hand up. And
Yeah.
George, yeah.
Hi, I just wanted to ask Sally, I really appreciate your presentation. Is there any mechanisms to get support for local low-income communities to organize together in neighborhoods to do solar projects?
Good question. It's probably more than we have time for, but I'd love to talk about that because there are grants that are sort of set aside for low income communities. I forgot to actually, I should put the website address in the chat too, but my email is there. Reach out to me because I'd love to talk about that. Do you have some low income communities in particular that you're thinking about?
I actually have a colleague who is interested in a neighborhood in Greensboro, so it's sort of secondhand, but I would like to talk to her and then maybe get in touch with you. So
That would be great.
Okay.
That'd be great. And I mentioned that Solar for All and the financing that's coming out. When that's available, there's going to be even more for low income communities.
Okay.
I guess another question, as long as we have a minute or two. I mean, I just want to, it'd be great to hear feedback too about, this meeting and, how you're leaving it, how, the information that we got from Sally and, yeah, I think that would, I mean, for me, it's a lot of new information. So, and I did not have, and I think it's so nice that somebody put it all in one, did the work, put it all in one place and can explain it to us. So thank you.
You're welcome. I know it's still
Right.
even with the website, I know it's still overwhelming. So don't hesitate to reach out.
Yes. Thank you so much, Sally. This was wonderful.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks for inviting me. Thanks for being there.
We've got 1 minute left.
So people are saying in the chat, thanks to Sally and her team to collect this together. Thank you. Great resource and presentation, Sally. So yeah, that's a lot of positive feedback in. Yes. Yeah. Looks like a lot of work went into this. Okay, well,
Okay.
we've reached the witching hour, inspirational. What Philip says. So yeah.
Yeah. Thanks everyone. Well, thank you for attending. We feel very positive about these roundtables. Lots of really good information. So thank you for attending, and we hope to see you next month at the same time period. And you will receive all the information that was spoken about today, the links, all the information that went into the chat will come to you in a follow-up email.
Bye. Good night.
Bye. Good night.
Thank you so much. Good night.